Day, and we're live with the Metal Lab, and I remember to turn on my microphone again.
Is it on now?
It's on now. It's on now.
All right.
Geez, I'm a hot mess today. Oh my gosh, I am trying to balance so many things today. I don't understand what I'm doing with my life. I'm joined this week by the wonderful and beautiful voice, Mr. Tom Kerr,
I'm not a hot mess. I'm just a cool cat.
and Jay.
I'm a cool customer. I don't know.
Hey,
Yeah.
all right. So it's been a week off. We're back. We're holidayed up, and I'm already regretting it. Yeah. So it's been a week in here, 2 weeks in HeroClix at this point to kind of discuss if you have any highlights from the past 2 weeks. But yeah, we got some stuff to talk about. So Tom, quickly go over your highlights.
Well, quickly won't be a problem as there aren't a lot to say. I will say that the last couple of weeks have been fun for starting to get to know Roll20 a little bit better. I've been doing some more of that with Emily, just trying to figure out the ins and outs of how it works and uploading things within the safe surroundings of working with somebody who will be patient for my gradual stupidity. And I just signed up for this week's online Winamap, and so hopefully, I mean, I was able to buy my way in, so hopefully that means there's room, and I'll see what happens. This coming week, that is. No, Jay, no good.
No, I'm just mind blown. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I think he's more mind blown that you're ahead in a piece of technology than I am, because I am still completely blank on Roll20 right now.
It couldn't be easier. It's like falling off a log, only easier. That's not true. I've fallen off some logs. That's pretty easy too. I did have a chance to play on Sunday. We had a tournament, which was, it's funny. It was a practice tournament that led to more practice, so it felt like just a practice day. And in the middle of it, I guess there was a tournament.
A HeroClix tournament broke out.
Yeah. The idea was that you could play. It was practicing for next week's WKOs, and that in principle you could switch teams between rounds if you wanted to test out some different stuff. So in my case, we played 5 games in total, 3 games in the tournament and then 2 practice, of which I played 4 different teams, and then one of them I played again, mostly because I was too lazy to get a 5th one out. I came with 5 or 6 different teams that I could have played in all. So it was great. I'm not in a place right now where I'm really feeling a lot of loyalty or connection to any given team. There's so much in HeroClix at this particular moment, and with the looming specter of retirement on the horizon, even if it's not super close, then I don't want to get too enamored of anything at all, really. There's a lot to come out, and then a lot will change when the figure landscape changes. So at the moment, I'm just having fun playing lots of things, and it's been pretty great. That's me.
All right, Jay, how about you?
Similar to Tom, but with the addition of Wednesday. Yeah, it was Wednesday with Emily, which I normally can't do, but I had reading week, so that was good, despite the fact that I forgot most of the team, but I was able to proxy most of the figures. Although that team ended up getting not so much dumped as put to the side for now, because, I don't know.
It was too good? It won everything too easily?
No, it actually lost a couple games with some good people, and I'm sure if Devin started playing it again, otherwise known as an actual good player, he would do pretty well with it.
Silly.
Apparently, despite trying to part ways with Haha Joker, he keeps on finding his way back into my life, because we're back to Undying, at least for now, because Daredevil's good, and the amount of fun of manipulating the dial between intentionally pushing and the Venom harnesses are a lot of fun. It's almost like a pick-a-power. And then I have an actual pick-up power because Exospecs Joker is the best thing ever. And I will, I guess, ride the Joker train until I'm literally forced to stop by that whole retirement thing. Especially because there's some stuff coming out that I think will be synergistic with Don't Die and just annoying in general. So that'll be good to keep the practice going, because I only have one open that I get to play at, because I'm judging at the other, and then the others are sealed. But hope it'll be fun. I hope so.
Cool. I myself, well, for those of you who watched it, we managed to squeeze in a game on the Married Lab. That was a lot of fun. We're testing. We got to try out our new live stream. We have a little bit of work to do in the way we set it up, but I think the next time we do it, should all those kinks should be worked out perfectly fine. I had just made a weird decision to change a camera angle And then all of a sudden that required Amber to be buried in wires. That was a bad idea. So,
Fair enough.
And I think since the last time we did this, there was an Earth. No, there was not an Earth X. No, I'm gonna shut my mouth now. In regards to that,
But not in general.
not in general. Not in general. I mean, otherwise, what am I supposed to do, other than get that message out to our patrons who at 10:45 will be allowed to do their call in if they're $5 or up.
Fair.
As all of their message box went, huh? Yeah, in general, it's just been a lot of staring at Earth X, wondering if I want to build new teams, wondering how I'm ever going to get a Captain America, Venom, and then biding my time to figure out what I'm going to do with the Iron Man. I think part of it is the new Iron Man is going to be involved with a Isaac, I think, at this point in my head space. I'm probably coming up with a team that I really want to play, and I'm going to find out it does not function the way I want it to, and then will let me down, as most of my teams tend to do. Yeah, so it's been a lot of theory crafting right now for me. I don't get as much time. It's weird. I'm not as busy at work, but then everything else is busy now. It's a little weird. So that's been my life lately. But it's now as good a time as any to get into those previews. Since the last time we were on the show, a couple of Rebirth previews have reared their beautiful, I'm not going to say the word ugly in regards to these, beautiful heads, because I'm a Shazam fan, and I'm really excited to see what has come of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that just did not work the way it was supposed to. Nope, that's not the one. That's the one. There we go. All right, that worked out perfectly. 3 times the charm. Oh, man. Today's not going well. All right, first preview is actually the first of the figures. Let me just get rid of this part here and get that shrunk down a bit. The first of 2 figures built by the Team World Champions from 2017, along with the actual HeroClix World Champion from 2017, Howard Brock, Eastern Brock, and Warren Jin. The first one is a Team Worlds figure, Billy Batson. We all know him as Shazam, but there's a reason we got the Billy Batson separate, and it's kind of cool. So first off, Billy Batson has the Fawcett City Justice League International, Justice Society, Mystical, and Reporter keywords.
Crazy.
He's got special movement power, which he's got on all 3 of his clicks. This dial comes in at either 40 or 20 points. The world needs to know your sins. At the beginning of your turn, it's one of those Reporter, the world needs to know traits, or powers, rather. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose an opposing character within 4 squares in line of fire. Until your next turn, that character can't be given free actions.
Sweet.
The special defense power, which he has just on his last of 3 clicks, Shazam! Stop, but only once per game. If this click was revealed by damage from an opponent's attack and you paid 40 points for Billy Batson, after resolutions, replace him with figure number 37A, Shazam, on click number 6. This game, that Shazam can't be healed above click number 6, and when KO'd, instead scores 40 points. He's got willpower in the first 2 clicks, special movement power on all 3. The first click comes with Perplex, the second 2 come with Shape Change. Tom, what do you think of Billy Batson?
I think he's great. I love that boatload of keywords that you can give Perplex for 20 points for. I mean, we will soon discover what it means to cost 40 points and become that Shazam on click 6, and it means some pretty great things. I'm very late to the party here. I only looked at this for the first time a few minutes ago, so I don't have any deep insight to speak of, but I will say this. Even setting Shazam aside for a moment, for 20 points, the ability to get the Perplex and that awesome The World Needs to Know Your Sins power with a stop click figure and having shape change on the stop click to make it that much more difficult to finish off with so much theme team potential. The whole thing is just great. So even if you don't Shazam and you don't cost 40 points, he still is useful. And it's always nice to be able to have 2 point values that are both valuable, as opposed to sort of, the one that you would never play and the one that you always play. I think that there are teams in which really 20 points is well spent on this. It's also, the world needs to know powers are very difficult to use sometimes because the figures that have them tend to be extremely glass-jawed. The fact that he's got the aforementioned stop click and the shape change on the stop click makes it a lot more of an attractive proposition to actually put him up there to use it. And you're also putting a bit of a Sophie's choice into your opponent's zone if you've paid 40 points, and he has the potential of Shazamming. So I don't know what more you want. I think it's a really, really great little piece for the points.
Mm-hmm. Jay?
Yep, it is a great piece. Regardless of anything on the dial, the fact of what you get for the 40 point, get the Shazam is just so good, and then the figure has actual value other than that, like a lot of it. Although you have to be careful with that revert, because basically if he's being flurried and you fail that second shape change, he's almost certainly dead. So keep him away from the flurry figures, because their placement's only after resolutions. Otherwise, you're basically relying on a shape change roll. But yeah, there's definitely work to be done with him and Mastermind between Witch Queen and Alex Wilder to actually force the transformation. That could be pretty devastating in the right situations. And I mean, yeah, again, 20 point perplex. Like is that the absolute cheapest that we've got for top dollar for perplex now? Because I feel like the last cheapest was 25.
I'd say top dial. I think you're right, because I think what's her name, Betsy Brandt.
Betty Brandt
pushes onto it for 15.
Yeah, that's why I said. That's what I was saying.
You are correct. Yeah. So, yeah, those are some really good generic. I mean, not so much reporter, but mystical is very good, and the name ones are pretty good too. So,
yeah. Well, this is the piece made by Easton, Howard, and Warren, and for winning, Mr. Howard Brock made himself a Shazam. All right, so Shazam comes with Fawcett City, Justice League International, Justice Society, Deity, and mystical keywords. His first trait, like just as stacked as the previous one, minus, oh no, he doesn't have Reporter, instead he has Deity. We have the Wisdom of Solomon is his first trait. When Shazam starts the game,
Jay Solomon, that is.
When Shazam starts the game, choose one. Outwit, opposing probability control, Pulse Wave, Mind Control. This game, Shazam has Protected X, where X is the chosen power. Power of Zeus is a second trait. At the end of your turn, if Shazam has not been moved or placed this turn, give him a Zeus's Might token. Modify Shazam's defense by +1 for each Zeus's Might token he has. When Shazam moves or is placed, remove all Zeus's Might tokens. He's got a special attack power on his first 3 clicks if you pay 200 points for him. Thunder Strike. Quick. Shazam may use it at no cost instead of a close attack while using hypersonic speed. Other than that, we got Indomitable, Flight, 3 range, JLA team ability, and the Mystics team ability. Prob control on the first and third clicks to the 200-point dial. Prob control late dial on the 100-point dial. And, of course, I believe click number 6 is the one you start with. It can come in as Billy Batson, which means he starts with Charge, Super Strength, Impervious, Pulse Wave. There's a lot to unpack on this character. Jay, let's let you take the floor with Shazam first.
Oh goodness, this is there's actually a lot to break down here. You have to consider that he almost has a third team ability in Quintessence with that first trait, but then if you just don't need the Protected Outwit, it becomes Protected something else. I don't see you picking Mind Control and the Prob very much. So it's if you need Immunity Outwit, you have that. Otherwise, it's Pulse Wave, and then afterwards, if you really want, it's something else. The Click 6 that he comes in on is really good, and probably the best reasonable click that you could have seen for the mechanic with Prob, because honestly, you really want this guy for calling purposes, because whether or not they rule it that he's considered to be 100 or 200, it's really good, because those are really good point values to call stuff in on, and then you get Prob to go with it. The Zeus trait is like you get a +1 defense if it's a clearing turn. Basically, it's just a nice little extra thing for those off turns, I guess. Or if you just are already kind of ahead and you want to just take breathing room to clear, you have extra protection. That's pretty cool too. And there's no real way to game it because you can't be moved or placed. So I don't know of anything that would be able to pull that off without actually pulling it off. But it's sealed. You're almost definitely playing this at full. I mean, this is one of the first figures you're seeing from this set, but if you're not playing this at full points and sealed, I don't know what kind of game we're playing anymore. With what you have the punch normally option for full damage. You can shoot for the 2 with hypersonic. You're probably going to use the single target quake if you have the option, unless you just don't want to knock them back. So he has actually a lot of options for combat, and then solid stats all the way through, a lot of prob. The random power for teammates is cool. Knockback repositioning is cool. It's all good, except for the Mystics, which is still kind of a weird, not actually as good as it should be in competitive right now, just because Retaliators exist. But that goes for every Mystics character, so not really specific to this one.
All right, Tom, what are your thoughts there?
What you just heard there, ladies and gentlemen, that was the wisdom of Solomon. I'm going to make the same joke twice. I'm going to just keep making that joke. If I ever pull them in sealed at a tournament that where Jay's at, I'm just going to keep on shouting wisdom of Solomon.
Wisdom of Jay Solomon. You got a very
yeah. Well, that's when I need to call for a judge. Judge, we need the wisdom of Solomon over here.
Yeah,
actually, I don't even need Shazam to do that. I'm going to do that from now on.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I think Jay pretty much covered it. The only thing that you didn't specifically spell out, just in case anyone like me is looking at this dial for almost the first time, the aforementioned Wisdom of Solomon does say when Shazam starts the game, yada yada. So I would expect that means that when he comes in off of the Billy Batson swap,
that's right.
He gets to say that. So that's great. Really clever design, boys. And
almost like players made it.
Right. Other than that, like, it's just everything's this is exactly the sort of thing that you hope for in a figure made by players who are also fans, in that it feels like the character, it's competitive without being broken, it's effective without being cheesy, and it has a lot of character and a lot of distinctiveness without being bogged down in complications so that you have to read 9 pages of cards in order to understand what's going on. This is a really fantastic design, and I think it's great.
Absolutely. And I do like that both Billy and Shazam are rares, and we're not stuck hoping for a super rare or chase slot figure for a winner or champ figure, because usually they skew between rare and chase. I think there's only been one chase though.
Yeah, just Beta Ray Bill for
just
chase.
Been Beta Ray Bill, but
super rare is more common than rare.
Absolutely,
for sure.
But we're not done yet. This one not touched by a champ, but has been primed. So we have an opposing force, as it were, to Shazam, Black Adam. He's got the Injustice Society, Justice Society, Secret Society of Supervillains, Mystical Ruler, and Warrior keywords. They are not cheaping out on keywords in this set, let me tell you.
No.
Holy smokes. He's also got improved movement, ignores blocking, and breaks through it. He's got one single trait, the swiftness of Heru. So he's traded with super senses, free, roll a d6, move Black Adam up to X squares, where X is the result. Beyond that, he's a what you see is what you get dial at 200 or 100 points, with starting a charge with 200 points, starting with sidestep at 100 points. He is not indomitable, but he is quintessence and mystics team abilities on this figure. 3 range, steal energy late in the dial. I like this Black Adam, not for everything other than the fact that it just feels very Black Adam of him. That movement power can really catch you off guard if somebody rolls like a 6 with it. And I mean, any amount of number that you get out of that dice roll is free move. So you look at it, you say, well, he's only got a 12 movement charge. No. He's got so that's 6 charge plus 1 to 6. So that's between 7 charge and 12 charge on that first 200 point click. Or he's got an 8 movement sidestep or a 3 of 8 movement sidestep.
Yeah.
Big scale here, guys. In addition to which,
even Kenny wouldn't do something like that.
Oh, it's Kenny Pena's own sidestep on this character.
It'll never get old. It's a joke that's now 4 years old.
It's a joke that even he smiles about, though.
Well, yeah. What other choice do you have when it's been with you for that long?
Yeah. But yeah, I really like this Black Adam for everything he is, and I'll try him on 1 or 2 idea teams for sure. Much like I will with the Shazam, because I like these dudes. I like them a lot, and I just want to see what I get out of them as far as value is concerned. But face value, he doesn't scream awesome. It's when you kind of take the package as a whole and you start to realize, hold on a second, there's more going on here. That's once you really unpack this character, because in addition to being invincible and vulnerable and combat reflexes for the whole dial, that whole dial also comes with super senses. That's an important element to this dude. So I don't know, Tom, what are your thoughts on him?
I think it's pretty awesome. I think that you covered most of it. Unlike Shazam, this is one where I think the 100-point dial is very viable, perhaps even more viable than the 200, since, as you've noted, that sidestep is quite a bit more potent, or it has the potential to be quite a bit more potent than it seems. At lowest, that's 3 move, and then you can either make an attack for 3 range or make a close attack. So that's minimum swing of 6 off the top, and a possible swing of up to 11 on just a sidestep click. I also like the way that his movement powers all synchronize well with the movement, because the plasticity allows him to lock down or more easily get away with that free move. And then the flurry, of course, flurry is always a great power, but you're always a little bit saddened because as soon as someone sidesteps away, then that flurry is not hitting them. So now that has the potential to really get the job done. And of course, with the flurry and the steel energy, I mean, if you happen to be on click 7, you get to complete the flurry, so you'll be able to steal energy right back up to your top click at 100 points. That's pretty great. Add to that blasting through the blocking and the fact that he's got an 18 invincible super senses with a whip protection on both of his starting lines. Very potent. I think I'll play him at 100 myself.
Mm-hmm. Jay?
I definitely like him for casual and sealed. I don't know if I quite see it for competitive, because I mean, everything's good. I just feel like if we're talking min-max, competitive, all that, I feel just like either point value is not overcosted, but it's not undercosted for the environment that we're talking about. So I don't know if I see it there, especially, I guess post-rotation, taking up the prime slot is almost meaningless. You're only really worried about your Brood X. That's not even that bad, but I just don't quite see it right now, unfortunately.
Clean your glasses. I'm just kidding. I tease. But it's one of those things. I really like the idea of Shazam and sorry, it's this one here. Oh my god, I don't know how to use OBS today. I like Shazam as a character in general. He's one of the top ones for DC for me. Up there with Green Lantern and Green Arrow at times. At times, Green Arrow kind of hits and misses with me. I was glad to see another one of those come out. But now we're done with that. A set is okay. Hold on a second. I want to address one other thing too, because it came up and it's people are bound to ask questions. WizKids made an announcement today. And let's kind of calm down everybody for a second and learn.
I'm calm.
Just take a second to read it carefully, and every other contract that they've announced previously very carefully. They announced one with Magic the Gathering and Warhammer 40K, and they were very specific about what products are going to coincide in these contracts if they're going to coincide with an already existing WizKids license. So I'm going to share the announcement just in case I am wrong. But WWE very specifically noted that HeroClix, why is the internet just the worst today? Very specifically noted that HeroClix was going to be part of that product deal. They announced a deal with Hasbro, and the browser just doesn't want to open for me. Thanks, guys. I love that.
Do you want me to read it?
Well, I mean, basically it says they're making a miniatures deal with Hasbro to include My Little Pony, G.I. Joe, Transformers, and what product am I missing?
I think that's all they mentioned in the brief.
I believe that. I don't think they did anything else.
Yeah, and now it's what's important to note here is that they say it's specifically a miniatures contract. So much like what I'm sure we got, as sure the deal was with Magic the Gathering in regards to the Ravnica Dungeons and Dragons board game. Hasbro runs Wizards of the Coast as well. They own Wizards of the Coast, which means these deals have other legs to them. I have it right here. So, announcing a new licensing partnership with Hasbro with the addition of beloved properties G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, and Transformers to WizKid's extensive line of miniatures. Fans can expect to see their favorite characters first appear later this year in both pre-painted and unpainted formats. Now, when they make these announcements, they say HeroClix or Dice Masters when they're going to include them. It's on their Facebook, which I'm going to show right here. Bingo. Okay. So, we got a little picture of WizKids, My Little Pony, Transformers, G.I. Joe. Transformers just released a card game. My Little Pony also has a collectible card game. I don't know if that's still active. And G.I. Joe is also another Hasbro kind of thing. Oftentimes, you're not going to see that cross-game kind of thing happen. So, I just want to address this now. It's a deal that was made. I don't think we're going to see HeroClix out of this deal. Just because I feel like because they didn't mention it, and these properties aren't really going to find their way into HeroClix. And if this could also just be a stepping stone. This is the first deal. We'll get that official announcement of them if they do decide to do that, or they do make that agreement. But I think right now we're just getting miniatures for some other game for this. So I don't know.
Or they just have miniatures in general. You never know.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anything, Tom? Thoughts?
No, not really. I'm fine with it. Good. I like to see a company that I support being successful, even if it's success in a field that I don't care much about personally.
All right, and Jay?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I don't really have I'm a little young to have any sort of interest in most of these properties, or too old in some cases. But it's yeah.
And just to also want to say, you're never too young for any of these properties because these ones keep getting rebooted. There's a G.I. Joe for all generations, a Transformers for all generations, and My Little Pony exists in all generations too. It's kind of weird. You're also never too old, apparently, as I've seen. Anyway, that said, I got that out of the way. Let's talk Captain Marvel. New set just came out. Now we don't have the official HC Realms thing for it, so of course we're going off the rumors thread. I'm hoping my fellows here also have that open as I go to...
You mean my thread?
Yep. We have the J thread open.
Yeah, the thread J always likes to remember to remind us of. Thanks, Tom. Thanks.
It's just my favorite. Somebody shared this image with me years ago. I used to have it up at work. A tiny little silver surfer pony.
Is it this one? Nope, it's this one. Nope, this one. There we go. All right. So we're going off the rumor thread that Jay likes to remind us that he made. It's Captain Marvel movie set. It's going to be 22 figures in the set, I believe.
Yep.
Any of these mass market exclusive, Jay?
Nope, that is done because of licensing and stocking and stuff. It's all done.
Hooray!
Right.
Canadians rejoice.
Okay. Yay. All right. So we're going to start with figure number 001, Captain Marvel, real name Carol Danvers, 100-point figure, no range. Keywords are Kree, Shield, and Soldier. It's a very close combat focus style. Shifting focus, so free. If Captain Marvel began your turn on the map, replace her with another character with this trait. She's got a special damage attack power on her first 3 clicks. Alien strength, Quake. When Captain Marvel uses it after resolutions, any hit targets that didn't take damage from the attack are dealt 1 penetrating damage. In addition, she starts with some prob. Starts vulnerable, turns to toughness, close combat expert, middle of the dial there, late dial, hypersonic. Tom, what do you think of this Captain Marvel?
Do you want to just go to 10 now? She's one of the only shifting focus we've seen with only 2 figures.
Sure, let's go straight to 10.
Let's just talk about them both at the same time.
Yep. All right, so we have the other one, which is running shot focused, 7 range, 100 points, Kree, Shield, Soldier keywords. Also has a shifting focus trait and special attack power, full spectrum bombardment, penetrating second blast with 3 targets. When Captain Marvel uses it after resolution, any hit targets that didn't take damage from the attack are dealt 1 penetrating damage.
Okay.
All right, so we have we have range and we have close combat completely focused there.
What I like about this is that the couple weeks ago, last time I was on the lab, I mentioned the fact that I thought it was kind of weird the way they did Superman's shifting focus, because it was weird to me how much of him changed when he shifted focus, why he ceases to be invincible when he decides to take on his heat vision, because he's Superman. He should kind of always be that. It feels like this far more pulled back version of shifting focus addresses that issue nicely. It isn't tying up a whole lot of your sideline to have somebody who has a consistently fairly decent defense dial with reducers down throughout, or most of it, at least in the case of number 10, along with fairly consistent attack and damage values. The attack is even more consistent on the close combat one, but you've got a nice little end spike with the range combat one. And otherwise, we see a reflection of how Carol is choosing to go about her business. I love the fact that we've got Pulse Wave at the end of one and we got Prob at the beginning of the other, two of the most useful powers in the game to be the top and tail. Between the two, you're always going to find something to do. I love Indomitable. She's a taxi. I don't have a lot to say about her attack specials. I mean, the penetrating psychic one is kind of cool. You can do a multi-target, choose not to assign anything to some of your targets, and then get bonus damage out of it. So that's cool. Quake, a little bit less useful. It really only matters against impervious and invulnerable characters specifically that I know of. But anyway, this to me is a solid, thumb on the high side of sideways type of figure, because I think that you've got more than enough versatility to make good use of it. But for 100 points, it feels about right. I always like a figure with prob, though.
Yeah. Jay, thoughts? Reminder that we have you on camera now on this part of the show.
Oh yeah, that's a thing. I forgot how you changed the weirdness. Yeah, she's a fun figure. I just don't see the competitive because, like Tom said, she just is 100 points. Like, this is my casual. I'm happy to pay this number of points. It's just not quite the same world as the competitive, which is still okay.
Always remember, competitive figures are not fair. There's always that math. I'm gonna lean on the side of I'm going to try her. You guys are probably right where she's not gonna shine particularly well, but I feel like I'm gonna put some effort into it before I decide that myself, because we kind of eschewed this shifting focus Superman until I almost built a team of Coriander, and then we said, hey, I wonder how super shifting focus Superman will work for that, and then it did wonders. So, all right, next up we have the Kree Soldier. 25 points, 4 range, running shot with Psychic Blast on the first click, which turns to some enhancement use in later clicks if you survive with 3 clicks. Kree Supremacy Elite Forces, once per turn, when a friendly character that's adjacent or has the Kree keyword rolls for breakaway and the result is 1, you may re-roll that die. If that character is both adjacent and has a Kree keyword, instead you may re-roll the result of 1 or 2. Oh, okay, so I see what's happening. It makes Kree's breakaway better, or
the thing, might as well get this out of the way now. The wording is a little bit elusive at first read. It does say when a friendly character that's adjacent or has the Kree keyword, and everybody who has this trait has the Kree keyword, so it does affect them, unlike so many other powers that only affect the adjacent character.
Yeah.
So this character will also get to use their own effect.
Yeah. I mean, it's a 25-point generic. The next two, I think we can all just agree. There's, you know what? I'm not going to say that because everybody always yells at me when I do that. But yeah, I'll let Jay take the lead on this one. Kree Soldier, what do you think?
It's a perfectly fine little generic. I wish the range was a little longer, but it doesn't really matter because this is, unfortunately, again, quote-unquote, only a casual figure. But even so, it's still quite reasonable in that area.
All right. And Tom, do you agree?
I agree. There's only so much you can complain about a 25-point figure, but I find it very unlikely I'll ever put it on a team unless I absolutely must make a Kree keyword team for some reason.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have the Skrull Warrior, which has this Skrull team ability. Welcome back. 4 range, 25 points, Skrull Spy Warrior keywords. Ignores hindering from movement. It's got a trait, Secret Invasion. Who do you trust? If Skrull Warrior occupies hindering terrain, increase the result of his shape change roll by 1. Adjacent opposing characters can't use leadership or be carried. And then he's got special movement power in all 3 of his clicks. Hidden until they're not. Sidestep and stealth. Once again, kind of like the Kree Soldier. Kind of neat. Though at the same time, because he's Skrull keyworded, there's, Skrull team ability now. He's got that trait of shape change. Every time that works, it's the most annoying thing in the world. So, nothing worse than an obnoxious target that might require more effort than necessary to deal with. It's semi-counter... Well, I mean, it's not counterproductive. Who am I kidding? If somebody's ignoring hindering for your line of fire, they're going to get through your stealth. So now you have that extra added protection of being in stealth, but having an actual shape change instead of the Skrull shape change. I'm assuming Skrull works the same way it used to.
No, there was actually a noticeable...
It is actually shape change now.
Oh, it's just flat-out shape change.
Yeah,
But
you
with
do, yeah,
but -1, you only succeed with on a 6.
Okay,
though,
so
right?
it's still the same thing, but you don't get to use shape change twice now.
Correct.
you don't
Okay,
get to combo with other shape changing.
Okay, so it's shape change on a 6, but it is the only shape change they got. Awesome. So
Right.
yeah, actually, I stand by what I just said. Shape
Okay.
change on a 5 or 6 in hindering. I don't know. It's okay. It takes a little bit more effort than required. There's a maybe point for it. If it had something that helped somebody, I'd be more plussed by it. I think is where I'm trying to go with this. I don't know, Tom. What do you think?
I like it actually. I don't love it, but I think that it synchronizes. It synergizes quite a bit better than the Kree Warrior by comparison. For a 25-point figure, I like the fact that the stealth means that if they're not stealth busting, they do have to come and hit you in close combat. And if they're doing that, they're looking at an 18D with shape change. And if you're in hindering, of course, it's a full shape change. So it's not that easy to take out. It's also not necessarily that tempting to take out until you realize that he's standing next to your leadership person and is taking away your extra action every turn. It's not only that they can't roll leadership, it's that they can't use leadership. So that's really annoying. And if they're there and they're annoying, they've got a rolled out possibility and they've got close combat expert and they're combat reflexes and they're staying next to your leadership figure. So for 25 points, I actually quite like this piece. I just don't adore it.
All right, Jay.
Yeah, it's like just quite not good enough for the competitive because the stats are. Yeah, if it was a 17 reflexes top dial instead of the 16, I felt that would be pretty big deal. But again, for only 25 points in generic, I don't know what you can really ask for at that point.
Agreed.
All right, next up, always finds his way into these sets. Nick Fury, shield team ability, 5 range, 50 points, shield, pass, and spy keywords. First trait, only trait, espionage, super spy. Nick Fury starts the game with 3 tradecraft tokens. Free, remove a tradecraft token and choose. Ignore hindering for targeting, ignore hindering for movement. Nick Fury can use that ability until your next turn. He has a special power in his first 3 clicks. We only get 1 shot, people. Leadership, when Nick Fury or an adjacent friendly character attacks before the attack roll, you may remove a tradecraft token. If you do, opposing effects can't re-roll that attack roll. Ooh. He's energy exploding kind of dude, 50 points. All right, Tom, what do you think of Nick Fury?
I like him.
Still taking it in. Yeah.
I like him a lot. We're going to get to an even better version of him. And generally speaking, the tradecraft gets better as you make your way through the set, but I think this is a strong start. I really love the ability to remove a tradecraft token to make sure they can't reroll effects because you can still do it. And this game so often comes down to a roll or two. You're either playing a type of team that just rolls dice constantly, the Tyler Spees Wales thing, or any Jason Collins team, or other things like that, where there's a ton of dice rolls, something's bound to hit, or there's the precision dice rolls where this better hit, my life depends upon this moment, and Nick Fury really helps you out with that. In addition, I just like the fact that he's got the 18D up front. Even if it is unprotected, it's still not bad, and with the ability to potentially move through hindering, he's should be able to hide himself fairly well. He is a little soft for 50 points, admittedly, but I think he's got enough going for him to still make me want to try to play with him a bit.
Jay?
Yeah, this one, I wish I was considering it, but again, it's just almost there. I think, unfortunately, it's literally what the dial does is good. It's just the fact that some of these point values are just unfortunately not undercosted enough.
I think this is also under my list of I will try it before I say anything negative. Right. I do like a lot of what he does. All right, next up, Atlas.
My love has come along.
5 range, 50 points, Kree, Cosmic Spy, keywords. Super pink on the movement, 100% sidestep, get some precision strike. Just whatever this is on the defense and damage. Kree supremacy, deep cover. Friendly characters that are adjacent or have the free keyword or the Kree keyword modified defense by +1 against close attacks. If that friendly character is both adjacent and has the Kree keyword, they also modify the defense by +1 against range attacks. Jay, what do you think about Atlas?
I don't quite like this one. I believe that's supposed to be shape change on the top dial, but
it is.
She just gets shot. I don't know. I'm just not seeing anything really cool here. Doesn't really move that much. The range isn't that good that the sidestep is good enough. You just hit him and he dies really easy.
All right, Tom.
Yeah, it's too late in the night to talk about pieces that'll put me to sleep.
Fair enough. I'm kind of there too. I was like, this is just a not interesting figure. This feels like a common in
it's a pure tie-up, and so again, in a 600-point all Kree team, it'll be fun to have a piece that just runs across and gets in your opponent's face and makes it really annoying with a 20 defense up close, but not for competitive.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up, Jan Rog. 6 range, 50 points, Kree armor, cosmic soldier keywords. Kree supremacy for Hala. Once per turn for all characters with this trait, when a friendly character that's adjacent or has a Kree keyword hits, action total +1. Cool. Mm-hmm. If that character is both adjacent and has the Kree keyword, attack total +2 instead. Action total +2 instead. Sorry, not attack total. Action total. Special attack power on his first 2 clicks. Mandroid armor, a little bit of a throwback for us old school HeroClixers. Incapacitate and telekinesis has that on his first 2 clicks. 50 points. This dial. Tom.
4 clicks is too rich for me at 50 points, I'm afraid. I love the fact that he's got it in leadership and it gives +1 action total and could potentially give another +1 action total. That's a lot of actions. And maybe someone's going to find some cool thing to do with it because, after all, TK is always useful, and he's got Cosmic. So, here's 50 points for your Cosmic teams to get even more actions than they already have. And so there's probably a niche case to be made for him, but I'll let someone else figure that out, and then I'll sing the praises of that team.
I think so that someone else is also playing the Cosmic. I don't think you are one who plays that team per se.
I have, but it's not for me.
Jay?
I'm not seeing why this is so many points. Is pretty much the problem here. I just,
it's.
I almost wonder whether they expect someone to break it.
It's one of these situations. They put everything you want in the first 2 clicks, and I think that those 2 clicks are most of the cost. In fact, I think this is like a 50-point 2-click character when it comes down to it, because you have your TK and your leadership all in one package. And people are talking about using Silver Sable as 50-point leadership. So, that's maybe, I don't know.
I do love TK though. It's actually, the Silver Sable is an interesting comparison because I think there's a case to be made for either one of them depending upon what you need.
Yeah. And Silver Sable fits on all teams, whereas this guy fits in Kree, Cosmic, Soldier, Armor. I didn't realize Soldier was one of those and Armor was one of those. I may be coming up with something.
No, you're right.
So, all right. Next up, Kree Combatant. 25-point Kree Soldier with no range. Kree Supremacy, Peerless Warriors once per turn. For all characters with this trait, when an opposing character rolls to break away from friendly characters that are adjacent, have the Kree roll, and then have the Kree key roll. Excuse me. And the roll is a 6. You may re-roll that die. If at least one of those friendly characters is both adjacent and has a Kree keyword, instead you may re-roll a result of 5 or 6. So it's kind of like hey, you got away from my plasticity, try again. Because you know who all of you guys are watching this show who rolled that 6 against my plasticities. I don't know. Anything you want to add to that, Tom?
No, I have very little to say about this piece.
All right, and Jay?
This looks like a fun piece to hoard like 8 of for a casual game.
Well, I mean, you only get that thing to pull off once per turn. Even if you have...
No, but still, it's a decent little generic tile as far as the stats go.
Yeah, I'll say this. I like it better at 25 points than I like at last at 50.
I like a lot of things more than I like at last, let me tell you.
There's a better one coming.
Next up, Skrull Technicians. Skrull team ability 5 range, 50 points. Skrulls and Scientist keyword. Ignores hindering for movement, and the secret invasion trait is exactly the same. Oh, no. Sorry.
Right.
If it occupies hindering terrain, it gets +1 to shape change. That is the same. But this next part, once per turn, when an opposing character would within range would use Outwit, Perplex, or Probability Control, you can roll a d6 on a 5 to 6. That character can't use that power until your next turn. Tom, what do you think of the Skrull Technician?
I think it's so funny to imagine, like you roll, you miss, you use prob, You hit, they go to use prob, but you say, no, I'm going to roll to see whether you can use prob so that I can roll. It's like, oh, good lord.
Are we not interrupting enough rolls at this point?
Yeah. This is an excellent piece on my opponent's force, as I don't have to work very hard at all to get these 50 points. This is worse than the last fork like 50-pointer is. I mean, some real good powers here. You got shape change and stealth protecting your TK outwit. That's great, and but no, it's not very good. Even with good powers, it's too many points.
Jay?
I would play this style every day, but for 25.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm realizing that the drummer is also a scientist. So that would be also obnoxious to pair with it. For only, hypothetically, 65 points, I'm game.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Phil Coulson. Shield team ability, 5 range. Also want to point out his real name is Phil Coulson. 50 points, shield, pass, and soldier keywords. Stealth across the board of his 4-click dial. Another 50-point 4-click dial here, guys. Espionage, always been a collector. Phil Coulson starts the game with 3 tradecraft tokens. When an equipment object token would be dropped or KO'd, you may remove 2 tradecraft tokens instead to equip that equipment to Phil Coulson or an adjacent friendly character. Special attack power on all 4 clicks. I love these old spy gizmos. Precision strike, free, remove a tradecraft token and KO a standard object held by Phil Coulson or an adjacent friendly character. If you do, the character that was holding the object chooses a standard attack power to use this turn. Jay?
Again, I would very much like to use this piece for competitive in the world where it costs way less points. I don't know. Like, are they just slapping 50 points onto everything because they know that's what the relevant columns are? Like, I don't know. I don't know why everything's automatically 50 points.
Always remember, these sets are always kind of focused on learner players. Movie sets have the byproduct of, hey, everybody's seen the movie. Oh, look, this thing HeroClix is based on the movie. Let's try this game. And that's kind of the appeal of this of these movie sets for the most part.
I don't know.
So they keep the points easy to do. It's like 50, 100, 200, you know. Oh, I got 6 guys on my team.
But these are like, you know, complicated things with like little traits that involve tracking tokens that are useful against equipment objects and things like that.
I didn't say they were doing a good job with the characters. I just said this is the idea on the pointing.
I would pay like 30 points for competitive for this. I will say that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the. It's not that hard these days to destroy equipment objects, since a lot of the new ones aren't requiring object attacks to take them out. And I think it's cool that you can do some sort of sneaky alpha strike against your opponent's exospecs and then equip them to an adjacent friendly. That's pretty neat. But it's just not worth 50 points when you don't know that you're going to be able to do it.
You know, one thing I did want to point out is there are a lot of situations where I have a character carrying an object and I either don't intend on using it necessarily or wish I could do something different with it, like choose a standard attack power. I think Coulson's kind of pulls that. I think that's where a lot of his points are coming from in this case, because there's a lot in there, right?
That would be very cool. Stupid adjacency, though.
Yeah. All right, so we already got Captain Marvel covered, so now we move into Minerva. 75 points, 6 range, giggle about the silly names. Kree, Cosmic, and Scientist keywords. It's a this style with a last ditch at regeneration in there. Her Kree supremacy, protected by superior technology. Friendly characters that are adjacent or have the Kree keyword have protected outwit on their speed powers. If that friendly character is both adjacent and has the Kree keyword, they also have protected outwit on their attack powers. Man, do I wish one of those gave you for the defense power, because that's always what people outwit.
Or the damage, for that matter. Like, if I had to rank her powers in order of what I would most like protected, I think Invincible would be top, followed by Prob, followed by Psychic Blast, and Running Shot in a miserable last. But that's just me.
I don't know. Jay?
Yeah, I did. It's that one click of Invincible. It's real good.
Don't you wish she had willpower? Can't we all be agreed that she'd be a lot better with willpower?
Or even just, you know what, this 75 points with Indomitable isn't offensive.
Yeah, it's a pretty good opening click for 75 points. running shot, psychic blast with a decent swing on an invincible with prop. That's not bad.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can't do it twice, and that if you do push, you lose so much, really upsets me.
All right. Next up, Talos. Skrull team ability, 6 range, 100 points. Skrulls and spy keywords. Trying to talk too fast, I guess. +1 shape change roll and hindering. And adjacent opposing characters can't use team abilities. Special movement power in his first 4 clicks within my grasp. Charge, plasticity, stealth, giant reach 2. And then he's special defense power in his last 3 clicks. Regeneration. When Talos uses it, he heals an additional click.
Does this guy also ignore hindering?
No.
No, he does not ignore hindering for movement.
That's really too bad.
He is indomitable, though. He's got leadership, some close combat expert. I think that... All right, Jay, what do you think?
I want to win it again, but also for 100 points, you're basically relying on blades for damage output for 100 points. Like, that's too much. I don't know. And the stats start off so strong, and then by the time he's on click 5, he's a goner, and you're just hoping that he rolls a shape change so he can regen. But then he's done a power action for it. I don't really see it.
Tom?
I'm a little more charitable, I think, than you are in this case, Jay. I really wish that he ignored hindering. When I give him the octopus arms, that won't give him that, will it? It'll give him flurry.
No, it will. It's more elevated and hindering.
Oh, good.
Does it?
So, yeah. So that's a good combo. I mean, admittedly, that's a fair number of points, but I like the whole I want to keep him in hindering because I want to get a full shape change in addition to that 18D because he's got the stealth and a stealth forcing you to come and try to punch him in close combat with an 18 close combat expert and shape change is a lot better than what we've seen up until now in the set. Now, admittedly, if they bust through stealth, then that's going to be a little more challenging, but you just have to adjust your playstyle accordingly. I think that you got to play him smart. I don't mind the fact that the regen is power when you have it's a minimum regen of 2 essentially because he's got willpower. You're never going to be taking the push to do it. Well, not never, but probably never. Extenuating circumstances notwithstanding. So you're healing between 2 and 4. You could potentially go back to top click. I like it. I agree with you that it's sad that the blades is the only way to go above 3 damage, but at least he can crack your invincible if he needs to. And every time I look at him, I picture octopus arms. So maybe without it, yeah. I
wonder if octopus arms is the thing you're thinking of, or if maybe, I mean, octopus arms does add flurry, so I can't discount that. But I wonder if you'd get enough out of the beetle pod. You get the extra movement, toughness, and flight.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that too.
Or possibly the Goblin Glider to give you the running shot. Yeah.
Yeah. Although, yeah, I guess I like him better in close combat, so I think I would go Beetle Pod. But yeah, I think you make a good point.
I think my only issue with it is that he's got a giant reach at 2, and then his ability works on adjacent opposing characters. Like,
it's a hard. There's so much good stuff in the game right now that he's a hard call. But I wouldn't be completely blown away if in a year's time some other stuff has come out that synchronizes well enough with him that he's worth another look.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Nick Fury again. He's got the Avengers Initiative and Shield team abilities this time. 6 range, 100 points. Avengers, Shield, Soldier, and Spy keywords. So he's got the Avengers Initiative and Shield team abilities. Avengers, Shield, Soldier, Spy keywords. Espionage, a Spy Master, traded leadership. Starts the game with 5 tradecraft tokens. Free, remove a tradecraft token. Choose an opposing character within line of fire. That character can't have their combat values positively modified until your next turn. Special movement power in first 3 clicks. Going dark, sidestep, stealth. Free, remove a tradecraft token to move Nick Fury or an adjacent friendly character up to half their speed value. Okay. And then special defense power on his last click. No one ever really dies. Stop when this power is first revealed. Remove all tradecraft tokens and heal Nick Fury that many clicks. Jay, what do you think of this Nick Fury?
I don't think he's immediately competitive, but I feel like he is going to be the single figure that I keep my eye on because there is so much potential there. Like he can move 6 squares for free and then do a call-in, or and has the Outsiders basically, which is really cool with stealth busting. He can like do a call in and then make them move off the map themselves. The fact that if you don't use up any of the, I mean, you're playing this guy. I feel like you're keeping enough tradecraft tokens where you can get back to like a toughness click. So then they have to deal you 6 after toughness to get you to the stop click, but plus a couple back and then back again. And the whole time that's a lot of damage for 100 points. Right now it's probably a little bit too easy to deal with his defenses, and I don't know how important the stealth busting actually is, or how important what he does is right now. But I feel like this is a figure that should be competitive at some point.
All right, Tom.
I think he's crazy good. I really like him. I like so much about him. I mean, Outwit's a great power. Outwit with the Avengers Initiative team ability is real nice. I just love the fact that, hypothetically, on one turn, you could move 8 squares, then sidestep. You've now moved 10. You could take a free action to move another 4, so you've now moved 14. You could then outwit within 6. So you can outwit within 20 squares. And also turn off somebody's modifiers with a free action all in the same turn. So, when your opponent's Unimind comes and bakes somebody on your team, you can go basically across the entire map, shut down their perplexes, and if they've chosen perplex, then you also outwit their defense powers, and then retaliate against them, and they're just naked. It's incredible. All that with a stop click that allows them to heal back up. I think he is a finesse piece. I think that if you're not playing him carefully, then there's a very good chance that he's going to be in trouble. But I think that if you're playing him carefully, the potential here is deep with still 2/3 of a team to build around him.
Mm. There's always a Nick Fury in these movie sets that always finds his way to make me go, I'm going to try that guy. I think this is the one in this set. I think the other one is the one in this set, too. I like Nick Fury. All right. Next up, Atlat. I'm going to be repeating myself this part.
My love has come on.
Atlas.
I'm just going to do it every time.
6 range, 75 points, Kree cosmic keywords. This one's a little bit more hypersonic, super strengthy, toughy, better. In stats and dial, I guess. Flies, Kree supremacy, empowered by superior technology. Friendly characters that are adjacent to or have the Kree keyword have protected outwit on their defense powers. If that friendly character is both adjacent and has a Kree keyword, they also have protected outwit on their damage powers. Hey, Minerva!
You paying attention here? If only the effect could be switched in the character.
Right?
Rob is... Well, I guess actually, you know what? Put Minerva next to Atlas. That makes sense.
There we go. Now they're both fine.
Hey, wait. It's almost like they designed it this way.
Jeez Louise. 150 points for your team is not put into that, but yeah, why not? Jay, anything you want to add there?
This style looks better a couple of years ago, and right now it kind of feels a little lackluster.
Yeah, and like 8 years ago, this style looks real good.
Oh, jeez. Wait. Was it 8 years ago that No, I'm thinking closer to like 10, 11 years ago that Icon Superman was a thing.
Yeah, we're not going back that far. I'm thinking the dark days of like
Hypersonic 10 range? Yeah, forget that.
DC 10th anniversary, like that mid-period when it was post-carded, but still you had a lot of low values.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up, Jan Rog. This is a different one. 6 range, 2 targets, 75 points. Kree Cosmic Soldier. Wow, he beefed up to get 6 clicks this time around. That starts with some energy shields, so found a lot of good that's going to do.
Right.
His Kree supremacy is friendly characters or adjacent characters with the Kree keyword. Sorry, friendly characters that are adjacent or have the Kree keyword modify attack by +1 when targeting only characters that can use shape change or stealth. If that friendly character is both adjacent and has a Kree keyword, it can use ignore hindering for line of fire and characters. He's got a special damage power in his first 3 clicks. Psych Magnetron, Empower, Enhancement, and Range Combat Expert. Jay, what do you think of Jan Rog the second time around?
If there was some really good Kree that needed that improved targeting characters and hindering, that would be really good. Especially with the everything. I like everything here, more or less. I just feel, I don't know. I feel like you can just do better, and I feel like again, this is a very top-heavy figure. Like, the last bunch of looks aren't bad. Like, definitely not. But for the points that you're paying, I don't know. I'm not that excited by what I'm seeing by the time he's taken 3 clicks of damage.
Mm-hmm. Tom?
I don't know. Were you intentionally being like, if only there was someone with the Kree keyword, Jay? Or were you actually saying that literally? Because when we get to the title character, I think they synchronize real well. She can basically ignore everything except hindering through one of her title effects, and so put her next to this guy, and she basically shoots everything. Otherwise, I think it's cool. I like the back dial Pulse Wave and Force Blast. It's a wonderful combination always. And Perplex there too. I mean, it's a bit soft. As soon as people see it, they're going to jump all over it. But I feel like this is 75 points fairly well spent, which is not something we've been saying a lot of so far. So I'll take it.
It's a lot less add to the team. Like, this is okay, it's got Empower Enhancement. I should shut my mouth on that one. But this one's a little less subtle than the first one is, let me tell you.
Yeah.
This one's like, hey, by the way, here's a brick. Here's, something to add to your lasers. Oh, by the way, I have Range Combat Expert. Is it dead yet? No? Okay, well, let's throw the kitchen sink at it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, sorry, somebody sounded like they were going to jump in on that. Nope. Okay, cool.
Nope.
Bronchar. Next.
Is that supposed to mean something? Is that a pun on a god name?
Bronchar?
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 No.
I don't
know.
All
right, carry on.
We'll get a handout for it, and it'll be like a Bronchar. I don't know. I was stretching on that.
Too bad there's no solo man here.
Oh, jeez. All right. Bronchar is he's got Battlefield in the first 3 clicks, so that kind of tells you where we're going with this. Kree supremacy: live Kree or die.
Funny, eh?
I love that. I love that live Kree or die thing. Once per turn for all characters with this trait, when a friendly character that's adjacent or has a Kree keyword is KO'd, after resolutions, you may deal 1 damage to each opposing character that was adjacent to the KO'd character. If that friendly character is both adjacent and has a Kree keyword, the damage dealt is penetrating. Cute. He's got a special move power in his first 3 clicks. That's Charge, Flurry, and Knockback. I don't get it. What does he do?
Yeah, subtlety. Thy name is not Bronchar.
Most certainly not Bronchar. Charge, Flurry, Knockback. So if you're next to a wall on this guy, you deserve what's about to happen. Like, what's about to happen is going to hurt. Yeah, I mean, this guy is your usual brutal close combat figure. Anybody want to add anything to that, or are we good on that?
So subtle, so nuanced.
Yeah, there's a lot of subtlety to this guy. So we move next to the Skrull Scientist. I'm going to look something up when we're talking about this one. 75 points, 5 range, Skrull team ability. Skrulls and Scientists keyword. We're already here, so he's got the +1 to Skrull shape or to shape change when he's in hindering. But the second part of it is when an opposing character is KO'd by an attack. After resolutions, you may place Skrull Scientist in or adjacent to that character's square. If you do, he gains immune until your next turn.
Insanity.
Hide in plain sight. Free. Place Skrull Scientist in or adjacent to the square of an unheld object within range, then KO that object. Tom, you seem a little excited by this guy already.
Well, the funny part is, immune is great, but what's really great is a 75 point figure popping anywhere on the board where somebody happens to have been KO'd to call somebody in, perplex them up, and then watch them go to town. And then stay there alive and undamaged to call somebody in the next turn and perplex them up and watch them go to town before they even have to worry about getting out of there. Which they can then do by popping into a square of an unheld object. I mean, somebody could always just grab an object and drop it to give him a way out in that case. I think that there's an awful lot, again, kind of like what I was saying with the Nick Fury earlier, that as long as you're playing it with a certain amount of intelligence and nuance, I think there's a lot that can be done with this piece. I think that, you'll play him in 6 games, and maybe in 2 of them, people will just nuke him from orbit, and you maybe won't see the value. And maybe in the 3rd one, you won't get a full use out of them, and you'll don't see what everybody's so excited about, but then the other 3 you will.
All right. Jay?
It's a long tournament that you're not even doing that well. And why are you playing 6 games of Swiss and you're not even doing that well?
I didn't say that you were losing. I mean, I was assuming that you won the world championship that day. Just how much Skrull scientists did en route to that victory.
I just kind of a little nostalgia trip for myself here. Versus System had a live, Kree or die card. I just realized, and I was totally reminded of it when we talked about it. So just a little blast from my past. All right. Next up, Phil Coulson. This is 75 points. Range, Jay, what the heck?
I think it's supposed to be 6. I can't remember. I'll leave me alone. The problem is a lot of these previews, we saw this on Facebook, a lot of these people are posting them with just the range cut off, and it's like, well, why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm getting a chuckle out of it because you're so proud of this, running this thread, and it's just like every little problem I got to give you the hardest time for. He's 75 points. He's got the Avengers Initiative and Shield keywords. Avengers Initiative and Shield team abilities. Avengers Shield and Soldier keywords. He's got Espionage, Mankind's Shield. Phil Coulson starts the game with 5 Tradecraft tokens. Free. Remove a Tradecraft token. Choose a standard damage power for Phil Coulson to use until your next turn. Then he's got a special other trait, Hard Light Shield built into the hand. Energy Shield Deflection traded. Free, remove a Tradecraft token to choose an adjacent character until your next turn. That character can use Energy Shield if they are adjacent to Phil Coulson. Special movement power on his first click that has 12 movement. Stealth, Passenger 4. Phil Coulson does not modify his speed value from use of the carry ability. This is called the Zephyr 1. Then special defense power on his last click. It's a magical place. Stop. When this power is first revealed, remove all Tradecraft tokens and heal Phil Coulson that many clicks. Jay, what do you think of Phil Coulson?
It's worth. I think you forgot to mention the wing part of the special power, which is pretty relevant.
Yeah, it gives him the wing speed symbol.
But yeah, so this guy does a lot actually. Yeah. Like just starting off, you have the same dial length, but then you can trade in the tokens. But I feel like you can spend the tokens more than on Nick Fury because by the time you're past whatever, like that point of the game where you're already being almost knocked out, you're not going to need the big carry thing as much, I don't think. But regardless, you have the stealth starting, but then also the energy shield, which is good. You have a really good taxi for some really relevant keywords. You have the traded picket power for damage powers, so you're already gonna have themes. So you just pick like enhancement or self-busting outwit, or I don't know, any number of options that are all
probability control.
Yeah, or just range combat expert because again you can pew pew real good because Avengers Initiative. Shield is good.
Or Battle Fury, guys. Battle Fury.
Nice.
Hey man, if you've been having those if you've ever had a bad day against shape change, you'll love some Battle Fury. Let me tell you.
Oh, believe me, I know.
And if you're really mad and you want to play some Hulks, this is probably the tax you're playing now to enable all the Hulk shenanigans.
It's very true.
Or Hulk's shenanigans because apparently you got to play multiples now.
Yeah. All right. Tom.
Great. What a great use of 75 points.
Yeah.
They may call it the Zephyr 1, but I'm going to call it the Overdrive 2. Just kidding. It's not actually
double the price.
Yeah, exactly. It's not in any way comparing apples to apples. But I do think that what I mean by that is that I think this is now one of the most viable multi-taxis in the game, especially post-rotation. I mean, for the next few months, I think he's been outclassed. But soon enough, he might be one of the big go-tos. A lot more points, so you have to play it very differently. But for those points, you're given a lot of stuff that is useful. So I think he's really great.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and say I like him a lot. And I kind of want to see how he ends up working with that Nick Fury. But I don't... it's a 175-point investment. It's maybe not quite the way not working the way I'm thinking it's going to work. So, but at the same time, both are really good, I think. And I think you're onto something with that. The taxi that carries multiple guys in the much later parts of the game. All right, next up, Korath. 6 range, 75 points, Kree, Cosmic, Robot, and Scientist keywords. Targeting, improved targeting, ignores hindering. Kree Supremacy, you shall not escape. When a friendly character that's adjacent or has a Kree keyword hits after resolutions, that character may move 1 square. If that character is both adjacent and has a Kree keyword, instead, all friendly characters with a Kree keyword can move 1 square. Special attack power on its first 3 clicks, Precision Strike. When Korath uses it, friendly characters can use Precision Strike, but only to target that hit character. Tom.
He's okay. That's all I can say. This is 75 points. I believe it.
All right. Jay?
If he could further enable Hulk shenanigans by being cheaper, then that would be a good role for him. But as is, he's just it's too expensive for any sort of shenanigans.
I must say, it's funny. Like if you played him for the rest of your life, then there would come a game eventually where he would precision strike someone, and then just get surrounded by people. Precision strike enhancement, blasting away until they just were like melted into slag, and you'd be like, "This is what he was made for," and then you would die of old age.
I mean, Goblin King. Just
like it's not bad. Robot's got to make a comeback here. So
well, I mean, we've talked about some things. Isaac, Robot.
Yeah, Iron Man,
Robot.
Ameridroid is still a thing.
And combine all of that on a robot theme team. Maybe, I don't know. All right, next up, Ronin, making another appearance in a movie set. Welcome back, Ronin. 7 range, 100 points, Kree Cosmic Warrior keywords. Kree Supremacy, Power. If no friendly character has been placed this turn, choose an opposing character that dealt damage to a friendly character that's adjacent or has a Kree keyword since your last turn. Place Ronin adjacent to that opposing character, then make a close attack that deals penetrating damage targeting that character. And then he's got special damage power on his first 4 clicks. If you stand with the guilty, you will share their fate. Close Combat Expert. When Ronin uses it and hits after resolutions, he may use it again at no cost to target a character he hasn't hit this turn. He may repeat this if he keeps hitting. Jay.
People have mentioned doing this guy, playing this guy with Mjolnir, which seems good. It's worth noting that it's missing the improved movement hindering, which I don't think is that relevant. But that
it is and it isn't.
You never know. Stats are all good. A lot of options because you have the Close Combat Expert, Cacophony. You have Psychic Blast. You have the Pseudo Retaliation that's also penetrating. You have Seismic to enable all this. So that was pretty decently long for the points. I feel like this is never one that should go away from the general considerations, although it's not always going to be time to bring out Ronin, but there could definitely very well be a time for him eventually.
You will stand accused. Tom?
He's doing a lot of good stuff, just nothing that he does in some unique, special, interesting way that makes me want to play him specifically. I don't know if I'm describing it very well.
I kind of get what you're getting at.
Yeah, like, I mean, I agree. The first thing I saw when I looked at him was Mjolnir. But, you can't move in between. You've kind of got to get to the point where you're either really good at positioning or your opponent is really bad at it, and I don't like relying on my opponent being bad, and I, where possible, don't like relying on myself being good. Otherwise, like, he's definitely a hefty dial for you get a lot for 100 points here, and I just love that opening click, and I like the fact that he's got this little pseudo colossal retaliation. But of course, because it's a power action, he can't then follow it up. So once you're in there, then you better make sure you survive. So it's going to be tricky. Not perhaps as easy to play as it looks. It looks unsubtle, but I think a good playing it well will be a bit subtle and will require some good sense of timing and patience. And otherwise, not bad.
Yep, when Jay mentioned Mjolnir, I'm doing a cold read, by the way, today, guys.
Nice.
I haven't read much of this, so the addition of Mjolnir to this guy would kind of makes him stand out as pretty cool, but I don't think that's my team either. So, but I do think that's
not my tempo.
It's not necessarily my tempo, but at the same time, it is my tempo because I want you to put a figure on a map and then put an action token in every single square that you could target up to 7 squares away. And then that area becomes a little bit more enticing and a little harder to avoid when you think about it in a grand scale of things. I might be just being over dramatic about it, but I think he's a little better than we may be giving him credit for. I don't know. All right, next up. Captain Marvel, figure number 21. Carol Danvers' real name. Avengers Initiative. Team ability. 8 range, 2 targets, 150 points. Avengers, Kree, Shield, Cosmic, Soldier, keyword. There's a lot to unpack here. Give me a sec. Energy absorption is her first trait. When Captain Marvel takes 2 or more damage from a single attack after resolutions, note her current click number and then turn her to click number 11. If she would be KO'd, she can't be turned to click number 11. Next, Kree Supremacy, Cosmic Awareness. Friendly characters that are adjacent or have the Kree keyword have protected opposing probability control. If a friendly character is both adjacent and has the Kree keyword, it can use probability control, but only to target itself. Special movement power in the first 3 clicks. Strafing Run. Improved movement, ignores characters. Running Shot. When Captain Marvel uses it, after resolution, she may use Charge at no cost, but can't target the same character. Special defense power, which she has only on that click on number 11, which is the one you go to when you take damage. Impervious, Colossal Stamina. At the end of your turn, or if Captain Marvel would be KO'd, return her to the most recently noted click number, Protected, Outwit, and Pulse Wave. Jay?
Oh God, why are you making me do this one?
Because you're gonna make everybody angry, and then everybody's gonna team up on you.
I hate this style. It's terrible. No, this is an amazing dial.
Okay, I thought you were gonna be negative about it.
No, definitely a lot of potential. I don't know an immediate team that goes with it, but of course, Avengers is a good keyword. Shield is theoretically good.
I hear Cosmic's okay too.
Huh?
I hear Cosmic's okay.
I mean, it goes without saying. I guess, yeah. It seems okay. But yeah, the ability to do the you charge your running shot 6, shoot 8. That's a threat range of 14, plus 6 movement charge. So you're hitting things that are like 20 squares away theoretically. Good stats all the way through. You hit her once, and then you have to get her off of that 12 and 5 pulse. That's 12 and 5 pulse wave.
Yeah.
But good luck dealing with the 20 defense that's impervious and immune. Or that power is protected from outwit and pulse wave. So, in a world without random shredders, to just ping her off of that, which is
wait, how is she hitting 20 squares away? I'm confused.
You move 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right, Jay.
You shoot 8, and then you move another 6. So you're still only going 12 total.
Yeah.
But you're making 2 attacks in the process.
Yeah.
She had me on here too. That's what I meant.
Oh, Jay.
Wait,
There's the goalposts.
Yeah, everyone does.
You're right. You are right. But
with Mjolnir, you actually are right. So good point.
He's amazing. Oh my God. I just puked everywhere. Oh God, it's everywhere.
Oh God. Although, is it even the best equipment to give her? Because I like the idea of giving her flurry to go with that second charge, or just more flurry with the other charge.
Because she's not attacking enough.
Or flurry 12. Oh God, yeah, I think I like the yikes.
Or the Goblin Glider, just so that when she hits that amazing click 11, she's got running shot with a pulse wave 12-5,
and then starts with hypersonic. Wow, that's gross.
Oh my God,
insanity!
And also, your opponent can never prob her, so that's really cool too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pulse wave you 12 and 5. No, you're not gonna prob it. Sorry.
You're gonna wish you could.
God, she's insanely good for 150 points.
Oh God, yeah.
Imagine how good she'd be for 75. That's how we segue into the next one.
Just give us a second on this one. I do want to say.
Oh yeah, we're not done yet.
I might build a tentpole team, guys.
Yeah.
Mark the date.
Why wouldn't you?
Oh my God.
Of course, you got to get one first. They're not going cheap right now.
Well, I'm planning on. Okay, I have to admit this is the first countertop I'm planning on buying in a long time.
I bought one yesterday. This isn't the chase I got, although I like the chase I got.
Okay, we'll talk. Both chases kind of work in conjunction, if I understand correctly.
You
and
do.
Look, Carol Danvers, Fearless.
I love this figure.
Oh, this is the title character. That's why she's got the comma/ type thing. She's got no team ability. She's 6 range, 75 points. Shield team ability, pass and soldier. Sorry, shield keyword, pass keyword, soldier keyword. Ugh, I'm bad at this today. Her title character, Continuity. When Carol Danvers Fearless is KO'd for the rest of the game, friendly characters can't use team abilities.
Ooh.
How many have them these days?
Yeah, just don't put her on a team with Power Cosmic.
There you go.
Also, you just want to lose your power cosmic for some reason. I don't know.
Sorry, what?
Her first plus one.
Yeah.
Calling in the airstrike. Free this turn. Improved targeting, elevated, destroys blocking. Improved targeting, elevated, and destroys blocking, and modify range by +2. So 8 range. Her second plus one, provide cover fire. Free this turn when an adjacent friendly character hits with a range attack if Carol Danvers Fearless has line of fire to the target. After resolutions, you may give that character an action token. Then her -4 or -6, Psych Magnetron. Free, replace Carol Danvers Fearless with figure number 1 Captain Marvel or figure number 10 Captain Marvel, the shifting focus ones. If you spent 6 plot points, you may replace her with figure number 21 Captain Marvel instead. Title character can be replaced with their own effect. Oh, which one was figure 21 did we just talk about? Right. Hey, Tom, what do you think of the Captain Marvel that you got?
Oh, I love this character. I mean, I like title characters. I've really come around on this mechanic since they've started, I think, making better ones. Although, admittedly, the Deadpool, the first one we ever got, is real good.
Yeah.
Let's get this straight right off the bat. You're not very likely going to be able to get +6 plot points and turn into Super Carol Danvers. The odds are you've already won the game at that point, and you're just doing it to show off. The only other thing you could try to do, which we were either talking about before the podcast or earlier on, was try to work some scenario whereby you box her in next to somebody with support and just keep on cranking up plot points and supporting her back for the unavoidable damage, so that you're kind of forcing your opponent to try to come to your team and then try to take advantage of them when they do. I mean, that's the other thing. You don't see it very often as a tactic with title characters, is putting them next to a support piece and just not attempting to use them aggressively. Since the Penguin thing won't work in this case, that's another option. But either way, it's unlikely you're going to get to the other Carol, and depending upon what sort of a team you're on and what your needs are, you may or may not actually want to go to the shifting focus. I do think it's a little better, but I like this piece too because I really like calling the airstrike. I'm just in general a fan of the fact that I think she does an awful lot of good stuff for not too many points. She's a good old indomitable piece. She can be carried. I love the fact that she ignores everything except hindering, and this brings me back to the previous statement about pairing her up with the other Kree guy that gives her ignores hindering, so she just ignores everything now, except characters, oddly. And I kind of like the whole give an action token shtick. I mean, in this day and age, with as much don't die as there is, with as much lockjaw as there is, oftentimes I think that, you know, working around trying to control someone's action economy is sort of a backroads way or a backdoor way of trying to get the advantage on their team if pure damage won't do it. And so I kind of think that that's neat. It's more situational, certainly, but it's adding a plot point. You always want to be doing that. She's the sort of figure that is not necessarily so good that your opponent feels the need to go right after her. But if they don't, they may wind up regretting it later, and they're looking over at their sideline at your giant chase Captain Marvel thinking, I got to deal with something. And that is forcing your opponent to a decision. They want to come and they want to deal with Carol Danvers. Her continuity power is nothing as long as you haven't built a team with power cosmic characters. And if you're forcing your opponent to come to you to try to deal with Carol, then you can try to take advantage of the fact that they've done so. So for more for strategic purposes than just this particular piece is real good, I think I really like her.
All right. Jay?
I'm not following that up. Are you crazy?
I was also going to just stay quiet and move on to the next thing. I'm not going to lie.
Well, that is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. And that's the set. So there's a few highlights in the set, and I think that this kind of stands above a lot of movie sets as far as usable figures in my personal eyes. Granted, previous movie sets I'm a little skewed on because, like, some of the older movie sets, like the earlier movie sets, I was playing at a very casual level at that time. I hadn't yet decided I was going to take this game a little bit more seriously. So,
I think you're right on, though. I think this is the best one we've seen. You can split hairs about which ones are also in that echelon, but I don't think you could make an argument that one's been better. You could maybe just make an argument that some are similar.
Mm. All right. So with that said,
But which ones?
Yeah.
Capt 2 was amazing.
Really? I pretty much skipped it.
I think we all schmoozed about it and then never ended up doing much with it, except maybe the Target exclusive.
Agent 13 was a thing.
Yeah. Both the Hawkeyes
Again,
from the Age of Ultron
Target
set
exclusive.
were pretty cool.
Agent 13 was Target exclusive, so
yeah, I'm pretty sure
that was for us Canadians.
Yeah, if you could have used the Winter Soldiers on the ID card, that would have been a thing. But unfortunately, with all the whole real name things as it was at the time,
Europe.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, WKOs this weekend, guys. I know you guys are planning on going. Are you hype? You nervous? You have no idea what's going to happen?
I'll be going to the constructed one, but not the sealed one, and I'm excited. I already have my qualifications, so the pressure is kind of off as far as performance is concerned. You want the prizing, and in my case, I just want the experience. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm not really like tied tooth and nail to any particular team at the moment. I'm just enjoying the mosaic of good HeroClix stuff that's out there, and that's the best time to be playing. You'll learn interesting stuff and hopefully get some knowledge that'll guide our way into the ongoing competitive season.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jay, are you judging both of them or one of them?
No, I'm judging the constructed 401 so
Wisdom
I can
Solomon.
only do a bad job of judging and not playing. That's good. And sealed at CBA should be fun. It's a fun sealed set. It's the best store. I don't even know why I was going to say a good store. It's the best store.
It is the best store.
And the pricing, I'll have all the pricing, so there'll be literally no pressure. I already have the qualification. So yeah, should be fun.
All right, groovy. We're going to move into questions. Before we do that, I want to remind everybody to check us out at patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. Any valuation gets you access to our patron Discord. As well, you get access to our patron Hangout, which this coming Sunday is a hard maybe. Because we're going to be coming back from Great Wolf Lodge and with the kids. We'll see how everything... We'll keep our patrons updated. It may end up being moved to the... Jeez Louise. Nope, it's going to be the 3rd. I have to do it on 3rd because the 10th is Fastlane. So, and I'm a big wrestling fan. I'm also already super busy that day and I'd be exhausted. Anyway, so that aside, if you're going to $5 or up mark, you get access to the call-in link. It doesn't usually get used, but you can jump into the Meta Lab or Every Man for Everyone or the Married Lab at a specified time that I send a link, and you can jump in and be like, hey, I got a question that I want to ask in person as opposed to ask via text. So we, of course, will give you the time, the floor, as it were, on that particular link. So that said, nobody has hopped in because we're at the 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time point on that one. And we've got one question on the Facebook, and this is on the community group, coming from James Peter. I believe that's Mr. Clicksfix himself. And I think I kind of answered this, but I'm going to let the floor have it. Do you think we'll actually get HeroClix with the new Hasbro properties, or will there be some kind of board game or something else? I'm on the board game or something else kind of train because they usually name drop HeroClix when they're going to specifically do things. It happened with 40K when they said we're going to do it with Dice Masters and some of our other stuff, and it only ended up being Dice Masters in like a board game. So I don't know. What do you think, Tom?
I think that if there was at this point in time any real chance of it, then they would not be they wouldn't be secretive about the fact. Yeah. They would tell us if it was a thing that was on the books right now. They want to gain excitement.
Yep. Jay?
Yep, this is exactly like the Fantastic Four stuff in that they will definitely let us know when it's happening. And I don't really see a reason to get too hopeful when it just might not. And, if it doesn't, it doesn't. But if it does, cool. But no reason to make yourself disappointed.
As a brief side note, wasn't on Realms My Little Pony Clicks actually with the April Fool's Day theme one year?
Yeah. Or wasn't that Hello Kitty?
Hello Kitty was real, I thought.
I thought Hello Kitty was real, and I thought that
Nightmare Before Christmas
Little Pony,
was real, but didn't
My Little
happen.
Pony was April Fool's. My Little Kitty, Hello Kitty was supposed to be a thing that ended up not being a thing.
Right. It'd be funny if joke became reality in that way. I'll say that.
That would be. I mean, again, I think we'll get a separate announcement on that note. But all right. So that said, we're gonna move next into the questions in the chat. If you're in the chat, capital letters question. I'm gonna address this one question from Ricky Yell. He wants to know what was the holiday that we had last Monday, or what is, he thought it was Heritage Day. It's actually called Family Day. What Family Day is our provincial government with all of its, wonderful forethought. I don't know. They made up a statutory holiday.
Well, they realized
5 or 6 years ago because February sucks.
Well, it's also because a lot of other provinces and the U.S. all had a holiday on that day, so they decided to align themselves with it. And rather than just like aping on somebody else, they created it as a new sort of a hallmark holiday.
It was like new in my late 20s. So I'm 36 now. So
it's been that long.
Yeah, I was still working in restaurants when it showed up. So, yeah. I mean, there's actually a time we used to do inventory early mornings on Mondays when I was working in restaurants, and that's always a day we came in at like 5 in the morning. You go into lunch shift, and it's like all of a sudden there's families everywhere in the restaurant. It's a new statutory holiday, and we're understaffed because it's a Monday.
I'll say this for it. A lot of people have embraced the concept, and that's cool. I think that's neat.
I mean, when we were first becoming a family, we used to take that as a trip to the science center, but then that started getting crowded, and I hate holidays and crowds and things that I'm doing just because it's already hard enough to manage the 3 children that I have. So
that is a crowd.
Yeah. All right, but Adam Cole wants to know what you guys are playing on Saturday. So I'm going to be playing the water slide at Great Wolf Lodge with my children. And I'm going to be having a splashing good time with them. And I'm pretty sure by about 7 o'clock, my kids are going to be shivering and not wanting to get out of the pool because that's what children do. They'll be blue in the lips and just shivering. It's like, no, I want to keep swimming. Just get out. That's going to be my team. Tom, what are you playing?
I don't know yet.
Feel free to play with your mute button like George likes to do. Because there was one time where he was building his team, and he started with and then he also added to his team.
No, is Adam coming, or is he just wondering for our?
No,
coming.
He should be coming.
Okay.
Again, a disaster happens, but.
Yeah. Honestly, I enjoyed. There was a team that I played in Michigan, and it was a non-themed team that included Starro, some Foot Elites, an Green Oracle, a Groot, and a tank. That was a pretty fun little team, but I made the horrendous mistake of not adequately filling out my sideline with troubled characters on a team that made like a zillion attacks. So I had many, many turns in the course of that tournament where I just missed so many attacks. I had lots of opportunity to try to get more people out there, and it's the sort of team that actually I would have been potentially gambling those points to try to do it, and I just didn't have the sideline for it. So I've been meaning to try to fill that out and make better use of it, but I don't know. There's a lot of other teams that are also kind of fun to play. Is Captain Marvel legal yet?
It will be by that time because it'll have been a week.
I might try that out too. Like I said, I'm not feeling a lot of pressure, so I really want to have some fun here. So maybe I'll give that a go.
That was a quiet release. I didn't even know it was out. Jay?
I can't play.
There you go.
You're playing the Wisdom of Solomon.
And you know what? On Sunday, he's going to be playing nothing but Earth X figures.
Collation error.
Sure. If I was playing on Sunday, I would be playing that Undying team that I slightly tweaked. Although I might end up doing a Majestics article because there's actually
Sunday the constructed.
No. Saturday's constructed.
He meant Saturday, but I like to imagine you're going on Sunday with a constructed team. Oh, look what I pulled! Lockjaw.
To be fair, I could play a Black Panther 10 pull. We'll be basically the same team as last time.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because that 251 Black Panther is going to be really good. But
I don't know how you're going to pull him out of an Earth X booster, but you can do it.
Oh yeah, I mean that's true too. But I'm going to be playing the fun thing that I get to do, which is DQ Adam Cole. So that'll be
that is fun.
Fun to look forward to.
I hear it's the Canadian rules of HeroClix. I don't know if he knows this yet. It was enacted shortly after some jerk named Adam Cole was won HeroClix Nationals in Canada.
Different guy, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably.
What's this magical rule that we have now?
Where we have to disqualify Adam Cole in like the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Jeez, you're a judge, Jay. Get on that. Oh,
Adam Cole, baby.
You know what? I think that was the only way he got out of the disqualification was screaming, "Adam Cole, baby!" But he also has to be wearing only small wrestling trunks. I say he has to grow out his hair.
That image will never be out of my mind.
Yep. Adam Cole dressed as Adam Cole.
Great.
We find out how many parts of him sag, right? I'm one to talk. Like I look like a gorilla in a Speedo, so I look like somebody tried to shove Cousin It into a pair of underwear.
I just look like an overfilled water balloon.
I mean, I'm less like a woolly mammoth these days. Like I'm closer to like a small woolly mammoth these days because I've been working out. But
I like how it's all measured in woolly mammoth, though.
Just the amount of hair I have.
Mammoth all the way down.
Like I'm pretty sure you've seen me come out of the shower with just no shirt on in the hotel room, so you know what to deal with. Plus, we've shared a bed. You got to know how fuzzy I am by this point.
This is going down a strange route.
I mean, what other route do I go down?
Yes.
All right, I think we're about done here. I just want to throw a quick shout out. I am going to be recording with the Shots Fired podcast this week. So
cool.
Delightful. We tried to do a podcast with. I tried to do a podcast with them a little while ago, and wackiness ensued. To the point where somebody got robbed while we were. It's probably going to come up on the podcast again. It was not good. It was. We got a bit of a laugh, but are you serious? This is the world we live in right now, sort of situation.
Yeah, kind of a marred laugh.
So we're gonna try that again. I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be a little less PG than we are on this channel, just as a heads up, because every other podcast in the world keeps it not PG, and I take advantage of that. So if my kid listens, wrestling rules, young lady. But yeah, so I want to thank Tom and Jay for joining me today. I also want to take a second to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/HeroClix who support us every month. Like I said, every evaluation gets you on the Discord. $5 or up gets you access to the call-in portion of our shows. $10 or up gets you access to our action tokens, which should be in the mail very soon, I hope this week. So yeah, check that out, patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. It's a place where you can support us with your own financial means if you like the channel enough. If you don't, if you like it enough to just keep watching, we appreciate you too. You just get perks for the Patreon. We also want to thank our friends over at majesticccg.com/apex-insiders. $3 a month gets you access to brain dumps from some of the greatest players in the game. MajesticCCG.com is just generally a great place for all things HeroClix. I'm a semi-regular. I'm an irregular. I occasionally write on the. I got an article written up that I need proofreading on. Actually, now I think about it. Jay is a regular contributor to the page. I type sometimes better than I speak today, apparently. I gotta end this show before I embarrass myself further. So guys, WKO season, it's upon us. Captain Marvel is out. There's a lot of teams you could be trying, and trying is a form of practice, and practice will make your team better. Have a good night, everybody. Get me out of here.